Good morning. Today we're going to be doing a small brisket. Brisket is one of the things that people always want to know how to do. People always want to try. It's one of the most common things to be smoked on a pellet grill, any kind of smoker, things like that. So typically when you do a brisket, you do a full packer brisket. But those are huge. You know, those can be anywhere from 12 to 20 pounds and are just too big for most families. Most people are going to be cooking for 2 to 4 people. So today we're going to do a small 4-pound brisket, show that it can be done. Briskets can be tricky. They're one of the harder things to do, but once you've done a few, they actually become kind of easy and you can do them on a regular basis. Let's get started. The brisket soaked overnight in the brine. Now I have taken it out of the brine. I've dried it off just a little bit and I'm going to apply some rub. You can use just your favorite rub. This is just a homemade rub that I make. Pretty standard, but any rub that you like, and we'll just coat it extremely well. I've coated the brisket extremely well with a dry rub. Both sides, all the ends, everywhere that you can imagine. You might notice too that last night before I brined it, I crisscrossed cut the fat cap that was on top. I trimmed most of it off, but I did trim some of it. That's going to allow some extra rub to get in there. It allowed some extra brine to get in there and should give it some additional flavor. So I've filled up the hopper as much as I possibly can. Going to be using Weber Grill Master Blend again today. Just need a mild smoke flavor. I'm not a big, huge smoky flavor guy. I am going to run the smoke boost on it for the start for the first hour or so, and then kick it back up to 225. As we get ready for the grill to heat up, I'm going to be going up to 225. I'm then going to turn on and activate the smoke boost for probably an hour, and then I'll turn it back up to 225 and let it go from there. You'll notice I also am using a drip pan or water tray here, and I'm a fan of being kind of consistent. So if you remember right, I brined the brisket in a Coke-based brine, so I'm going to be using the same type of liquid in the drip pan for consistency. So I've got just a can of Coke in there. If I need to add more, which looks like I may need to, I may add a can down the road. All right, we made it to temp in about 10 to 12 minutes. I'm going to put the brisket on now, and then I'm going to activate the smoke boost for about an hour. I'm going to show you what we do here. We've got the drip pan on. I'm actually going to just take the brisket, and one of the really common debates is fat side up, fat side down. I've always been a fan of fat side up. I've read a lot about it. Some people say that it's best one way, others say it's best the other way. I do it this way, so let's go from there. Now the next thing we got to do is put the probe in, and that's a common question too, is how and where do you put the probe? Typically I'm going to put it in, as you can see, right through, so it sticks into about here in the middle as far as you can, because that's really where you want to get to. See, I put the probe in on the back side, right about the middle, right in there. Hopefully you can see that really well. I activated the smoke boost about 3 to 4 minutes ago. I'm not sure if you can see it, but there's a beautiful kind of bluish smoke coming out. Going to be fantastic. Like I said, I'm going to let this go for about an hour, and then I'll just reset the temp to 225. The smoke boost has been going for about an hour. I'm now going to deactivate the smoke boost and set the temp to 225. Okay, so at usually around 160, 165 degrees on the internal temperature, the briskets will start to stall out. Smaller briskets will stall at a little lower temperature. This one's stalled and it's been holding pretty steady for the last half hour, 45 minutes or more. So now what we're going to do is wrap it. You can either wrap it in aluminum foil. I use plain unwaxed butcher paper. Wrap it up really good and tight. I'm going to put it back on the grill at 225 and let it come back probably up to 190 195, 196, and then take it off, and then we'll finish up from there. So I wrapped it, and I've now put it back on the grill. I'm going to insert the probe back in it, close it down, and we'll let it go several more hours. So as you can see, I've taken the brisket off. I've got it in a cooler. Just packed it with the towel in a cooler and letting it sit for an hour or two. And I'm now putting on some asparagus, and I'm going to cook. Take about 20 minutes, and then we'll show you the final product. Okay, just unwrapped it and cut off the first end piece, and there you have it. See that awesome smoke ring? Looks like this is going to be a great brisket. So a 4-pound small brisket can be done, and I think it's going to taste fantastic.